takes two to make a thing all right.
What's your favourite type of donut?
It takes two to make it out of sight. I like the iced ring ones with the sprinkles. Oh, plain glazed from Krispy Kreme. And the American-inspired Boston cream donut.
It's snowing.
From Dunkin' exclusively.
Anyway.
Should we do the podcast?
Hello and welcome to Uphill From Here.
This is Catherine.
And this is Amy. And we're on episode 19.
19. We're almost.
Because we're almost.
At 20.
Doubled our goal.
Yeah.
This week, our word of the week is goals. So this week, we're going to be talking all things our goals, other people's goals, what goals means to us.
And we want you to go right now and put in the comments what your goal is for 2021. One goal you have this year. It can be anything. Pop it down in the comments. We want to hear from you. So before we get started, we have a very exciting announcement. For our 20th podcast, we are planning a very, very special episode.
We want to hear your confessions and we are going to react to them. From workplace secrets,
to everyday embarrassments,
to family faux pas,
to airing your ex's dirty laundry. We want to hear it all. Send them in.
Get in touch via our anonymous Google form that is either linked below on our YouTube video or in our Instagram bio at Uphill From Here podcast.
All confessions will be completely anonymous, so we won't know who sent in what. We will just be reacting to them. So your secrets are safe with us.
Amy has said, to anyone comparing their life to someone on Instagram, first of all, stop doing that. When addressing the word goals, the first thing that came to mind was social media. We often see hashtag goals being used to describe something seemingly perfect, something for us to aspire to. Holiday goals, house goals, perhaps the most damaging of all, relationship goals. Why are we confining our own personal ideas of happiness, our own hopes and expectations to a hashtag? I think that Instagram in particular is slowly draining us of our ability to decipher between what we actually want and what 1 billion tiny squares are telling us we should. So what do you actually want from life? Having an idea of what you want your future to be like is great. Having positive role models, both on and offline, is also really helpful in motivating you to get there. Whatever your goals are, you can and will achieve them. Just make sure you are doing it for you. Amy. Like that.
It's funny that I thought of that, isn't it? Like goals. Whenever there are goals, you're like, oh, goals, holiday goals.
Yeah.
No, I didn't think of like what I wanted to, like, I didn't think of my goals.
Yeah.
I thought of that word as a concept.
I think my first one is, have you experienced firsthand the damaging effects of the hashtag goals trend? Do you think?
I feel like when I started like properly using social media like last year, I think I was in a good place. So like I don't see pictures of girls with like abs or like the perfect house and be like, oh, it makes me so sad because I don't have that. I'm thinking, oh my God, look at her. She looks great. And I can celebrate that. I can celebrate a like perfect house, a perfect image, the perfect holiday. I think that looks really cool. I really like that. And I can look at that and be okay with it and not be like, that makes me feel inadequate because I feel okay about not having that and I can appreciate someone else that does. But I think, yeah, I can see how like goals, I think relationship goals is the one that like really stresses me out, especially on TikTok now. You see so many couples on TikTok posting things and that's like a 15-second video of their day or 15-second challenge or dance. And it looks so perfect. It looks so in love and happy. But you've got no idea what happens when the camera goes off. So you think that those little squares or those little tiny video clips reflect their entire relationship or their entire life. And that why doesn't my life look like that? And like you've said before, that's their highlight reel. You're living every second of every day. And it's not always going to be pitch perfect, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And you're sort of made to feel like if yours doesn't look like that, then you're not actually happy, and that's kind of damaging, isn't it?
But I think it's fine for people to post those images. I'm not saying
Mm.
don't be happy. I'm not saying don't celebrate how in love you are, how great your house looks, your car, like amazing. Post that, be great. But it's so important to remember, and it's so important to remember the damaging effect that can have on other people.
Yeah.
To
I
try and
think it's important
this.
as a viewer to remember
Yeah.
that more than actually the person that's posting it.
I
Absolutely.
think you're right. Like the viewer does have that responsibility to kind of monitor what they're viewing and how they're viewing it.
Yeah.
You need to remind yourself like this is just what they're posting online. Like you don't know what goes on behind closed doors.
No,
So you
exactly.
can't compare.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
They could be going off on holidays and buying each other expensive gifts and actually not really love each other. It might all be for show. So
Yeah.
I think you can't compare
Absolutely.
yourself to like these
Mm-hmm.
influencer perfect couples online
Yeah.
because it's just not real. It's not a real relationship. They're just posting
Yeah.
the best bits for you to
They
aspire.
might be jet setting off on a 6 grand holiday, but you might be having a nicer time sat on your sofa watching Netflix
Mm-hmm.
because you actually appreciate the person that you're with. You don't need all of the expense around that.
Exactly.
And everybody's relationship is different, and I think that's important.
Mm. And I feel like everyone having been stuck at home, the only way of
Mm.
seeing what other people are doing is through social media, not through just seeing them and oh, they look happy. You're
Mm.
seeing just one little snippet
Yeah,
online.
yeah. And as well, I think actually, I'm going to ask this question to you.
Ooh.
Do you think that even during lockdown, these like lockdown goals of like how productive you are, how good your little at-home date night was,
Mm.
you know, like doing a little like party for yourself. Do you think that's kind of a negative way of dealing with the pandemic? Because again, it's about like resources and money and situation. What are your kind of thoughts on that?
Well, I think like people have been doing whatever they've needed to do. And
Mm.
I think some people do find a sense of escapism posting online and posting what they've been doing. And maybe they want to help like inspire others and give other people like a bit of escapism too, which I get. Um, but I don't think using like hashtag goals, hashtag date night goals, like who says who? Like you might
Mm.
really like that, and that's great. And 100% post it and share it, and amazing. You're happy, great. But I think coming back to the idea of saying giving someone the idea that that's your goal too. Not everybody maybe wants to do that, and that's okay. Um, it's not like the ultimate thing that you're doing that you are posting.
Yeah.
And people shouldn't view it that way.
Mm. Yeah, I think social media has kind of generated throughout lockdown, it's kind of generated this thing of like, oh, I'm doing really well with lockdown. Look at all the great treats I can, give to myself. And it's like there are so many people in this world who cannot afford that
Mm.
at the moment. And again, it's about that kind of privilege thing, isn't it? Of knowing and noticing your areas of privilege that
Mm.
you're.
We've got to give ourselves a little bit of a break right now, I think.
Mm.
Like, no, don't expect to look like what people are looking like online because that's not real.
Do you think it's because you spoke about at the end of your letter, like it's good to have an idea of what you want in life and what you want from the future because it's a good way of motivating yourself? Do you think it's a necessity or do you think it's just nice to have a bit of an idea?
I think it's good to have goals because then when you're feeling a little bit lost and a little bit like, why am I doing this? Why am I here? What's the
Mm.
point? You think, well, I'm doing this because I'm saving for this, or I'm doing this because it will progress me here, or it will make me better at this. And it's like bigger picture stuff. Like when people ask, where do you see yourself 5, 10 years? And some people just cannot figure it. I think it's important to have an idea of where you're working to make give you like a focus each day.
Mm.
Um, but then again, some people can don't need that bigger picture and they just literally focus on every day. What's my goal for today? What do I want to achieve today? Like what am I working for? And they don't need that goal. They don't need that bigger goal that they're working for. They just don't. But I'm a kind of person that like I need to recognize where I want to be and like action steps to get myself there.
Yeah.
Like it makes sense that I'm doing this because it will get me to X, Y, and Z.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's more of a logical thing. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Like you say, I think it's just the different ways that people work, isn't it? And I suppose some people's goals don't come to them until they're maybe later in life.
Mm.
They, decide in their 40s what they particularly want to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I struggle with like more short term.
Mm.
What do you want to do this month? I'm like, oh, I don't know. But where do you want to be in 5 years, 10 years from now? I can tell you. Like, do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And maybe I struggle with like the short term, like, what do you want to do today? I'm like, oh, God, I don't know.
I think I'm the other way around.
Do you?
Yeah, when somebody asks me where do you see yourself in 10 years' time, I'm like,
Yeah,
like oh. People keep asking me at work, and I'm like,
I don't know.
because I don't know, and I'll openly say that. But you ask me, what do you want to achieve today? And I'm like, this, and this. like,
That's funny. You are like that kind of person.
I'm like, there's not enough hours in the day for me to do all of that today, but that's what I want to achieve.
Yeah. But I feel like you can like those are easily achieve not easily achievable, but like you can monitor that. Like you can tick things off your to-do list and that's good.
Mm,
Like I've achieved my goals for today.
mm,
Um, whereas big goals take a lot more work before you achieve them. Like I
absolutely.
say, it might be
Take a
five,
lot
ten
of,
years.
yeah, they take a lot of little goals before you get to your big goal.
Exactly. Catherine's written. Dear Catherine, you don't really know what your goals are. And you know what? That's totally okay. You have everyday goals. You aim to get up most mornings and go to work. Today, you aim to do your washing and you achieve that goal. So well done, you. When someone asked you recently, where do you see yourself in 5 years? You said, in a place that you love and that you've decorated how you want it to be. Possibly with your partner, possibly not, because you might not be at the stage with them yet. Maybe with a dog, maybe not, depending on financial circumstances. Hopefully, in a job that is back in your field and just content with where life is at. I think what I'm trying to say is that these are all life goals that you have in the pipeline, but they have no time frame. This year you set New Year's goals instead of New Year's resolutions. You aim to continue your driving lessons, learning German, start learning BSL, and learn more about what you want, read at least 5 books, and learn more about your own well-being. The word goals seems so scary, but these little things all mean something to you, and that's all that matters. You go and you smash those goals. Love yourself. It's really interesting how you don't remember what you'd written so long ago, but literally it resonates so much with what we've literally just talked about how you're a short-term maker rather than a long-term goal maker. Um, so you kind of mentioned that you don't know where you see yourself in like a set amount of time, but you know what you still know what you like from life. You want the house, the partner, the dog, the job that you're content in, but you just don't have any set time for that. So how do
Mhm.
you, as a person that likes to measure things and achieve things, how do you deal with knowing what you want, just not how long it's going to take?
Um, See, it's really weird because if I put a time frame on it, it stresses me out. Um,
Okay.
and it's this idea that has actually come from several conversations with other people, and I think it's quite a common thing, especially for young women, to have this idea of like ages of when you want to have done things by.
Mm.
And again, if that works for people, that works for people, and that's absolutely fine. So, some people that are like, I want to be married by the time I'm 27, and I want to be having kids by the time I'm 30, and I want to be like this and this and this by the time I'm this age. And I'm like, why? Like in my psyche, that's not how life works. So you don't put an age on something, because if you put an age on something and then you don't achieve it by that age, you automatically tell yourself you're a failure because you've not done it by when you promised yourself you'd do it. And it just makes me think of that bit in Friends where she's like, so I wanted to be engaged for this many years, and I wanted to be married for this many years, and I wanted to be married before I was 30. So in terms of like actually like finding someone, I needed to find them yesterday. It's like, it's very much that mindset of like, the reason I don't put long-term goals on things of like, in 5 years I want to achieve this, because you don't know what's going to happen in 5 years. 2 years ago when I was with my ex-boyfriend, my goals were very different for this year than they are now. And, you know, it's very much kind of, you don't know what's going to happen in that space of time circumstantially. That might mean you have to give up on those timeframes and, you know, move them back. So I've just never been one for saying 5 years, 10 years, because it's not really something that I think about.
That's so true. I've never thought about how the fact that women feel that biological, we've talked about this before, but women feel that biological time clock. For me, my goals of like getting married by this age and having a baby by this age and having a job for this many years before I can get a mortgage to get a house before I can have the baby. And I'm like, that's all determined by the fact that I know in the back of my mind there's a certain age when I won't be able to have children. It feels like this clock is ticking to achieve all of these goals before this thing. And you're like, I get why that stresses you out now.
No, I think this idea that you can't have children past the age of 30 is a really kind of outdated thing, because medicine as well is so different now that like older women can have children. It is possible. And obviously it does depend entirely on you as a human and who you are, and your kind of anatomy. So I might get to after 30 and not be able to have children. And obviously that will be devastating. But if that's what life has handed to me, then that's what life's handed to me. And you have to deal with that. So I think, yeah, this pressure to have children in your 20s is very strange. Children might not come along till I'm in my 30s, and that's fine by
me. I like that maybe like as women, our goals shouldn't be shaped by our biology. So you kind of said like, you obviously do have like long-term goals that are just not set in stone. But what about people that genuinely do not have any idea, cannot picture life, 5 years, 10 years, they don't have any goals, they don't have any big plans for their life, they're just not sure, they're just taking it day by day. Do you think those people will struggle to find motivation and be driven and ambitious without having any goals?
Not necessarily, because I think some people really thrive off the everyday, don't they? Some people are very much like, they live for the moment kind of thing, and they don't think about the future or the consequences. And, you know, some people very much live every day like it's their last, don't they? So I think for those people, that motivates them to get the most out of life every day. But even if your goal is just to be happy, it's like, well, you're achieving that every day if you're living the way that you want to live. So therefore your long-term goal has been achieved, and you'll continue to achieve that if you keep doing the things that make you happy.
And if you're like dedicated to like a goal of like self-awareness and self-progression, that is achievable because you know what you're doing to achieve that. And it's not some thing that you just get there and it's a destination and it's a set, I've reached my goal now, I don't have to do anything now. It's like a constant everyday progression of just bettering yourself. So yeah, that's nice. It doesn't have a deadline. You just keep living the best life you can.
Live the best life on.
This is you don't have to answer this, like, and it doesn't need to be about you, it can be about generally people that do not like setting goals. Do you think those people are fueled by a fear of failure and that's why they don't want to set goals?
I don't know. I think for some people it must be. It's very hard to explain because I don't think I've ever really worked out why I don't make long-term goals. Never sort of delved into it. I don't really know why I don't do it. You know, I've not got like a specific thing. I'm not really aware of why I don't. So I think for some people it can be because it's an insecurity, isn't it? It's a thing of, you know, you don't want to fail at the things that are most important to you. And I do think sometimes that might be why I don't set long-term goals, because I am very critical of myself a lot of the time and my ability, especially in the things that matter to me. So I do think there probably is an element of kind of fear of failure and fear of not getting there that does make you not want to make them. But I think for some people it is just they genuinely have no idea, and they're waiting to find what they want in life and their goal in life, and waiting for something to come along to show them that.
Wow. I think that brings us nicely on to our guest this week. Catherine, who is our lovely guest this week?
Our guest this week is Athina Crilley from Finding My Fit podcast. If you don't listen to Finding My Fit, you should. It's brilliant. So this week, Athina has come to talk to us about what goals means to her.
Dear Kat and Amy, you asked me to talk all about goals. In particular, I want to talk about health, fitness, and mindset goals. And I think goals are so important when it comes to planning out where you want to go in your life, whether that is to do with your personal life, your personal goals, or your business goals, or even if you have goals to travel around the world, whatever it is that you want to do in your life. I think it's so important to have some kind of goal just so you can plan out a certain direction that you want to go in. And it also helps to be able to set out a kind of structure in order for you to reach those goals. For example, when I take on clients who undergo health and fitness coaching with me, the first thing I will do is set out their goals. So what health goals do they have? What fitness goals do they have? What nutrition goals do they have? And we will follow the structure of the SMART goals. So that is S for specific, M for measurable, A for attainable, R for realistic, and T for timed. And we follow out and fill in all of these different letters of the word SMART. And that helps us to really narrow down these goals so that this person is going to 100% achieve their goal within that time frame. I feel like the goals that you write down or that you think about to change your mindset are similar, and they kind of overlap to the goals that you have in the rest of your life. For example, if you are trying to improve your mindset and be more positive, a lot of the time the things that you put into place or the things that you think about are achieving your health goals or your fitness goals or your business goals, because those are what make you feel happy. So they all kind of interlink together. I also wanted to touch on manifestation, because a lot of us nowadays are talking about law of attraction and manifesting our goals. And what I think is so important for this is reiterating your goals in your head or on paper every single day, and making sure that they're at the forefront of your mind so that every single day you're waking up, you know what you want to achieve in your life and you can start working towards it right there and then. But I think that is so key when it comes to goals and really smashing every single goal that you have. So my ultimate advice if you have a health, fitness or mindset goal is to set your SMART goals and read over them every single day, just so that you're keeping them in the forefront of your mind and you're ready to smash them.
Oh, I feel so motivated.
So motivated. This is what I mean by when I listen to Athina's podcast, I just feel so ready to take on life. I'm like, yes.
Yeah, I feel pumped. I want to go and do a workout or something. I need it for my life.
I really like that we kind of spoke about long-term life goals, where you want to be in life. And Athina's was very much about kind of personal growth, where you want to be as a person, not the things around you, not subjective things, but actually who you are and what you're achieving for your body and your soul kind of thing. I really like that idea, and I like that she brought that different perspective.
And I think what she says with her clients when they start a fitness journey, and the first thing she does is she gets them to write those things down. Mm-hmm. And I think once you write a goal down, or you say out loud, or you comment it on a YouTube video that you're going to do something, it becomes real. You might have for both of us, for years, we've thought, I'd really like to learn sign language. That's always kind of been something we'd like to do. And then as soon as you say it to a friend, or you write it on a post somewhere and you say, this is what I'm going to do, you have that accountability. And you're well, I said I'm going to do it, so I've got to do it now. And sometimes that can add the extra pressure, but sometimes that's a good thing, because it's well, no, I've said that now and I'm accountable for it. So I have to do it. I have to achieve it.
I really like that she said about kind of law of attraction, because law of attraction is definitely something that's being kind of thrown around on social media quite a lot at the moment. And manifesting your goals and making sure that they happen sounds like something really kind of mystical, and sounds like it's really impossible, of writing down my goal will mean that it will happen. And it's I think that is very much what manifestation is about. But Athena's way of putting it, of kind of saying, but if you write that thing down every day, you're more likely to remember that that's where you're headed, that's where you're going. You know, if you're, for instance, you want to, I don't know, tone up your abs, or you want to get stronger or get fitter, if you're writing that down every day, it makes you more motivated to go to that workout class, to do your workout that morning, to go on that walk. You know, it's that thing of like, but that's where I want to be, and this is what's going to get me there. And you're more inclined to do those little things that will get you to that point.
Yeah, it's almost like a written promise that your current self makes to your future self. So you're imagining the person that you want to be, which is a lot more personal than just, this is the job I want to be, or I want to have done this or have X amount of salary. It's, who do I want to actually be, and what promise am I going to make right now to that person as to what I can do now to get there. I think it's good to have that reminder to constantly get and be like, what am I doing today? What's the point? I don't want to work out. I don't want to eat this green thing. I don't want to do this training, whatever you're doing. And then you go and you think, no, like, this is my goal. This is what I'm doing this for. It's a reminder of your purpose. And it keeps you going, it keeps you motivated. I think it's really important, especially during lockdown and all this crap. It's like having that something to get up in the morning for. Yeah, thank you very much for sharing that message and getting both of us motivated, I think. So definitely go and check out Finding My Fit with Athina. And that brings us to the end of another episode. Thank you very much for listening, and looking forward to the future. The rest of the year we are still looking for guests, so if you would like to get in touch, Catherine, how can they do that?
You can get in touch via our email. We are uphillfromherepodcast@gmail.com, or via our Instagram at uphillfromherepodcast, where you can send us a direct message, or even just comment on our stuff and we can start a little network and have a little chat.
So thank you very much for listening / watching another episode of Uphill From Here. We love you very much. We'll see you very soon. Bye. For our 20th podcast, we are planning. Okay. I forgot my line.
Workplace secrets. Shit.
I realized I zoned out as soon as I finished my line. I was like, can't fucking remember the line. Right. Still rolling. This is why I don't act. To every
Right, we'll go from the beginning.
Well, okay.
Did it.
We got